Hey folks, welcome back. We're here with Colby DeWeese from ChemePerformance, and of course your favorite coach, Amber. Wanted to do a quick podcast to wrap up our nutrition challenge and kind of talk about what you saw, what you went through in that 90 days. 90 days is a long time, but I think we did it that way on purpose. So with that, where do you want to go? What do you think?
Hopefully we've set up some really good habits.
Mm-hmm.
We made it through I think all of the major holidays, which is pretty intense.
All of the holidays that focus around food, that's for sure. We got Halloween, we went through Thanksgiving and then Christmas and New Year's.
Right, and Valentine's Day was canceled this year, so you don't have to worry about chocolate. Right?
Yeah, so we hit all of those major holidays, which I think was challenging, but I think most people, it was pretty rewarding too, just to learn that you can navigate through those events that are centered around eating.
Yeah, and look at it this way too. You made it through those holidays, or so you endured them, or maybe you mastered them. You just absolutely kicked their ass. But what does that mean for a Tuesday, right? If you were able to do it on Christmas or New Year's and keep it within moderation or tolerable, whatever, what do you do on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, man? You're crushing it. Gotta be. So.
Yeah. And I know for me, I do better when I have something out in front of me to kind of look at, like, oh, I've got this, I'm working towards it. So Nutrition Challenge is coming to a close officially, but now we're headed right into the open season. First workout is announced on February 21st. So we definitely have something to keep working towards. Hopefully some of those are now like habits and not just, let's see if I can do this kind of a thing, and we can move into the open season feeling really good instead of trying to get rid of, overcome the damage that we did for the holiday and get ready for the open
all at once.
Yeah.
So we did 90 days, as you guys know, as you guys wanted to do, because it takes 21 days to build a habit and then 90 days to kind of change your lifestyle. So we wanted to do it this long because it's going to be kind of part of you at this point in time. Just like you talked about, making it through the holidays is a huge thing.
Yeah.
So keeping that lifestyle as we go through the open, you can use the open as a goal. Like, okay, I'm not going to just, jump off the bandwagon right after the challenge. It kind of transitions you. Focusing on the open gives you something to still focus on and keep that lifestyle going, which is the ultimate goal.
Right.
We don't want you on the weekend after the challenge to go out and just, okay, all bets are off. I'm eating 2 large pizzas in one sitting today,
And drinking ranch.
Right. So you want to go out there and apply the same principles that we did. You went to Christmas and we ate in moderation. We focused on veggies, meat, that sort of stuff to limit the damage. You go out to eat pizza now. And, it's not possible to always avoid pizza, but it is possible to only have one piece. Right? Where you still enjoy your time with your friends. Yeah. But you don't end up hating yourself after eating 5 pieces of pizza the next day. So.
And I think at this point, the shift has already happened where it's not as appealing as it used to be. Because I know that pizza is going to upset my stomach and it's going to set me behind. And the next day when I go to work out, I'm going to feel bad. And so you've kind of you've been through that enough times during the 90-day period where you get it. Like, you feel better, you want to continue to feel better. And so we're not trying to fight as many of those cravings. I mean, they still pop up.
Right.
But I know when I started, it's pretty intense. And then as you do it and create the habit, you kind of move away from that.
Yeah, you're feeling better, you're having more energy, and you kind of realize that, I don't need that.
Yeah, so it's not really hard to say no.
I don't need a donut in the morning to feel good through the day. I feel better when I have, protein and some healthy fats. Yeah.
Well, I know one thing for me, you put it out on the Facebook group here, or it was on Instagram fairly recently, and said, look, if you're going to, if you've got that cheat meal or that treat or whatever that it is, make sure that it's worth it. And I get that. I understand that. But what I took away from that was I kind of took stock after, whatever that was. So it was a warm chocolate chip cookie for you, right? Yeah. But my list is larger than yours. We're just going to say that. I said list. But that was what I took away from that is to kind of take stock after whatever that treat is. So somebody brings in peanut brittle into my office, I like it. I enjoy it, but I still have that hesitation of like, that's not really on my plan. And so, but it's like, well, I can have a treat. I can have a little bit of it. But then now afterwards, I kind of think about it and go, was that worth it? And if it is, that's fine. I can fit it into my macros. I mean, it's flexible and it's that way on purpose. But I also take note of that it was okay, but it's not worth what I'm gonna have to do to flex to make that work, or it's not worth just blowing my day kind of a thing. So I that was a big lesson learned for me was those cheat meals. If you're planning one now that the competition's over with, be aware of how you feel afterwards, how you feel the next day, and then do a little bit of reflection and say, was that worth it? And if you got no regrets, R-A-G-R,
not even one letter.
regret,
not even one letter,
then fine, right? You're back on plan the next day. You get on down the road. It's no biggie. But if you eat like garbage and you get that carb flu, and the next day you're just you feel terrible. Well, was it worth it? And if it wasn't, you can think, okay, well, I don't have to do that next time because I remember what it felt like.
Right. Just walking through the process of kind of reviewing your cheat meal almost.
Yeah.
And saying, okay, was this something that, made me feel better? Did I enjoy it? And a lot of times the answer to that is no.
Yeah.
But people still, they still want the cheat meals because they have in their mind that one time that they had the best meal of their life and it was the cheat meal. And so they tied the absolute best case scenario to, kind of rationalize normal cheats. But if you think about it and you kind of like review almost what you're doing, you're probably going to realize that most of the time it's not worth it unless it's one of those things that's just like absolutely your favorite.
it's your thing.
So the big question here, everyone's dying to know, were the chocolate chip cookies worth it?
For those that don't know, Micah and Amber dropped off some, mainly Micah, dropped off some absolutely fantastic Christmas chocolate chip cookies.
That's all I need to know.
And they were worth it.
Micah
They
may
were
or may not
fantastic.
be Mr. Betty Crocker at our house. So I did help drop them off and package them, but they were cooked by him completely. So
Perfect.
and then kind of going back to the challenge, one of the reasons why we did the 90 days is because we wanted to establish some habits. We really did not want to focus on this is a challenge and when it's over, like you said, go have 2 pizzas and hope for the best there.
Right.
So we really wanted to set up some habits. I think we've talked a lot with people about sleep. How much that's affecting that, and I think people have really kind of same thing, sort of taken stock with that and looked at, when I don't sleep, the next day I'm not set up for success in any way, shape, or form. Eating, working out, just being a human being. It's hard to do when you're not rested.
Right. Your gym sleeps on average 30 minutes more per night now than they did at the beginning of the competition,
which is huge.
Which is unreal. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you talk to someone who doesn't sleep and struggles with that.
Yeah, and if you're watching this, Google a little bit, do a little research on the value of that sleep. And Amber's absolutely right. I agree.
Did you hear that?
Because I'm that person. If I don't get enough sleep, then I am more prone to making a bad decision. I'll get that muffin for breakfast and just get on down the road than I would be if I got a little bit more sleep to actually get up and start my day correctly. And I am predisposed to making that poor decision and then hating it afterwards. So that's one huge benefit, but the list is really, really long as far as what happens when you get enough sleep, or all the bad stuff that happens when you chronically don't get enough sleep. So the fact that our participants, our athletes increased it by 30 minutes on average, that's amazing. So hats off to you guys. You guys killed it there. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I think tracking sleep was a pretty new concept for most people.
It opens up a lot of people's eyes to, oh man, like I got in bed at 10 p.m. I woke up at 6. I got 8 hours of sleep. But then you don't realize, I got in bed at 10, but I scrolled around on Instagram for 30 minutes. After that, I kind of tossed and turned because I had a phone in my face. Didn't actually even really get 8 hours of sleep. It's more along the lines of like 6.5.
Yeah, and you said that you try to limit your not having a cup of coffee after 1 o'clock, and I'm not all that sensitive to caffeine, but while we started paying attention, and our days start a little earlier than some, but I started paying attention to tea and caffeine after noon, and it makes a huge difference. When I start my routine to get into bed, the hours that I'm in bed versus the hours of sleep are coming closer and closer and closer. I mean, my sleep efficiency is improving dramatically, and it's from those little things of. Otherwise, a day like today, 1 o'clock, I wouldn't bother me at all to have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'll pay for it at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. So, it's huge.
And I think, so we're all three Whoop wearers, and that has been my favorite thing about the Whoop is really looking at my sleep pattern. And even in those mornings that I wake up and I think, man, I got a ton of sleep. Like, I slept good last night. I didn't get up and down a lot. Why? And then I can go back and look at the data, and it's, I didn't really sleep that great. I was tossing and turning, and I didn't get good sleep hours. And it's been very interesting. I mean, it sounds so simple to say, well, it's kind of a no-brainer that you should get good sleep. But it's like you said, people go to bed at 10 and they think, well, I went to bed at 10, but really I didn't go to bed till midnight because I was on my phone and scrolling around and looking at everything. So I think the sleep thing has been huge. And then I think just planning in general. I keep saying it, and I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true. Like, the goal here was to set up lifestyle changes, not just something that we did for short term and then got rid of. So just planning in general. And I think it's that snowball effect. You got good sleep, so you wake up and you actually ate a solid breakfast, which leads you to making a better choice at lunch, which leads you to making a good choice for dinner. And then as the days roll into weeks, I mean, you didn't make this huge overhaul all at once. You did these little adjustments piece by piece, and it wasn't really that tough. And now here we are, and you're planning and thinking about your meals, and it's just, it's not a big deal. It's just what you do. That hour that you spent in bed watching YouTube, you're now in the kitchen meal prepping.
Right.
So, you were wasting the hour, well, spending the hour anyways, right? Now you're just spending it differently. So I think hopefully we've set everyone up to where they've created some habits here.
Right. The thing about the habits, about the planning, is that all kind of boils into consistency.
Yeah.
And with the consistency is where most people see the biggest gains in whatever they do. When you're eating kind of like, a similar thing day in, day out, your body knows what it's going to get, your body's processing it well, your body knows when you're going to be going to sleep, it knows when you're going to be able to waking up. Those habits, the consistency is really what, changes a person, because it allows you to plan, it allows you to, maximize your time and focus on what you need to focus on and get to the goals that you want to get to.
Yeah, I think consistency is huge, and it's so far beyond just working out. I think this has been a very eye-opening experience from the attitude of, well, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm working out every day, so I can eat whatever I want, or I can have whatever behavior pattern I want because I'm working out every day to earn those treats,
calories,
if you will. But it just doesn't work like that. And so I think I think that's been a big shift of like, it doesn't just matter that I'm coming in here. I'm in here for 1 hour.
There's 23 other hours in a day, and you can do a hell of a lot more damage in those 23 hours than you can make up for in that 1 hour in here.
Yeah, 1 hour of your day is 4% of your day.
That's insane.
And so it doesn't matter how hard you come in here and, crush it, that's only 4%. You've got 23 other hours in the day that you have to be focusing on. And
you need to carry that consistency through.
Right. Everybody comes to CrossFit for their health.
Right.
So we can move better, lift more weights, we can be thinner. And coming here for the health is really the easy part, right?
True.
It's those other 23 hours that, you're being a little bit more disciplined about your sleep, because we know that sleep makes you live longer. It helps you make better choices. It does all of these great things for you. Making good nutrition choices, the same thing. It's those 23 other hours, that we've kind of been focusing on throughout this.
That the way I look at that, or the way I think about that too, is if I'm sitting there thinking, well, I made some progress over the challenge, but I didn't have a huge transformative change, or But like you said, those 23 other hours, or the other 96% of my day, if I made just an incremental improvement in that period, I learned a little bit more of how to meal prep. No, maybe I'm not doing it every day, but I'm better at it than when I started the challenge. And I think don't discount that. That's a huge win, is that maybe you're no longer moving backwards. Maybe we're making a little forward progress now. 1% per day kind of a theory.
Right.
So I think that's exactly right. That snowball is. So you picked up a few things. Well, this won't be the last, and it won't be the only challenge that we do, and we're not going to continue. We're not going to stop talking about this now. But you'll just add on to that and add on to that.